Hello everybody and welcome to Nathan on Shuffle. Today's my latest episode of New Music Friday. It is April 15th, 2022, and this is the show where I give you guys the big prog headlines of the week. Usually I try to boil it down to the top 5 headlines of the week that excited me and that I thought would be interesting to share with you all. So I do this style video every week, every Friday. Please subscribe if you're interested in hearing prog news. I really would appreciate more subscribers and more views on these. And I'm just trying to bring attention to the prog community because I really love prog music, and so I hope you guys will continue to stick with me and enjoy these videos alongside me. So thank you guys for your support. So first of all, the first news item of the day is a new album from Sherinian called Vortex. It was announced for release on July 1st. So Sherinian, of course, is a very notable keyboard player in the prog community. He's part of the band Sons of Apollo that features Mike Portnoy and Bumblefoot and Jeff Scott Soto. They play a blend of modern progressive metal that's pretty exciting. He was also part of Dream Theater for a brief stint during kind of their falling into infinity era of the band. And he's released several solo albums. He released The Phoenix in 2020, so this is the follow-up to that one. This one, once again, features drummer Simon Phillips, who co-wrote and co-produced the album, as well as Tony Franklin on bass. Sherinian says, "I'm very happy to announce the release of my new album, Vortex. Simon and I always try and outdo ourselves with every release, and I'm confident we achieved our goal. Vortex is a continuation of The Phoenix. However, I feel the composition is stronger on the new album, and I would describe it as a modern-day 70s style fusion record, but with newer, heavier tonality." So that's really exciting. 70s style fusion, really cool, with some heavier kind of tones to it, which makes sense. Of course, there's a big guest list on the album of a lot of different people. Steve Stevens, Joe Bonamassa, Steve Lukather, Zach Wilde, Ron Bumblefoot-Thal, Michael Schnecker, Mike Stern, and Nuno Betancourt. So definitely a big list of some heavy hitters in the music community, metal and progressive metal and otherwise. So really exciting to see him come out with a new album, and I'll be checking that one out and see what we've got on store for that. So that should be a really cool one. Item number 2, James LaBrie releases his second single, Give and Take, from his upcoming solo album, Beautiful Shade of Grey. I really like this single. I listened to it. There's a video up on YouTube. I'll put the link definitely in the description. Kind of a more laid back, more acoustic kind of ballad kind of feel to it. The first track, Devil in Drag, was also really excellent, maybe a bit more heavier, but really, it's kind of interesting that it's not really seeming to be a very heavy metal type of record that you might expect from him and from like the Dream Theater style, but it's feels more a bit laid back and more atmospheric with some beautiful feeling to it, a great chorus, some great playing, some great acoustic guitar passages, some great instrumental stuff. So really cool what LaBrie is doing on this new album, and I'm really excited to pick it up. I think it could be a really strong contender for the year. It feels like a really nice breath of fresh air compared to some of the other Dream Theater albums that have come out recently. So not that I don't like those are incredible albums as well, but this is just something a bit different and lighter and kind of occupies a different musical landscape, I think. So really cool. I'm really excited for that, so hopefully you guys are too. I haven't really heard much of his previous solo work, so maybe something I should dive into in preparation for the new album, which comes out in May 20th on Inside Out Music. So another big release to look forward to. Item number 3, I've been seeing Mike Portnoy share a lot of stuff on his social media and so forth about the upcoming Transatlantic tour, so I wanted to mention some of that. He's been putting up on his social media various clips from Transatlantic, their past concerts and things, which has been really cool as a big diehard Transatlantic fan. Kind of like exclusive clips that haven't been available before and so forth. Really fun. He put up a clip of the Abbey Road medley that they did, where they combine Sweet Charlotte Pike from Bridge Across Forever with Abbey Road, side 2, and it's kind of a cool amalgamation of those two things. He put up a cover that he did of Hocus Pocus. So he did that, the song Hocus Pocus by Focus with Thies Van Leer, who's, the main frontman of Focus, on the keyboards and vocals on that. There was a version of Discipline that they did with Adrian Belew on Cruise, Progressive Nation at Sea Cruise, and then a performance with John Anderson of And You and I from that same cruise, which I attended and was a really exciting experience. The only Prog cruise I've been able to do up to this point, but I'm hopeful that maybe in the future, I can't go to this Cruise to the Edge this year, but I'm hopeful that in the future that Jana and I hopefully together can attend one of these Prog cruises, because that would just be such a blast. And so if any of you are out there watching this who go on those cruises, maybe you'll see us in a future cruise if you attend in those years. But really exciting news about Transatlantic. Their tour starts actually today. They're starting in Glenside, Pennsylvania, and they're running this kind of North American tour all the way till their Cruise to the Edge performance in the first week of May. So that should be really exciting. We're going to see them, me, Jana, and my best friend Kevin. We're going to see them next week when they come to LA. And actually, kind of as a little bit of sneak peek, I'm thinking of doing a video with my friend who's coming in town where we talk about some of our favorite Neil Morse and Neil Morse related albums. So we're really excited to get together and do that. So that should be a fun time, kind of a tease for an upcoming possible video collaboration that's coming up. So really excited for Transatlantic. They've been rehearsing. There's been clips of them rehearsing, doing the different harmony vocals and stuff. And so I'm just really excited for the album, for the upcoming tour. It's going to be a really fun time and cool to see them. It's always a blast to see them live. They're just one of the top bands in the field, just in terms of musicianship and everything that they're able to do with who they have in the group. Ted Leonard is joining them on this tour to kind of be that fifth man that can kind of do all the different things with guitars and keyboards and vocals to kind of fill out everything. So I believe they're playing the whole Absolute Universe in its entirety, the Ultimate Edition that was on that kind of Ultimate Blu-ray. Mike Portnoy also posted a YouTube link to hear the entire experience, ultimate version in preparation for the tour. So something to definitely check out there. So really excited as a huge Neil Morse fanatic, Transatlantic fan, really excited for the upcoming tour and getting the chance to hear them live, because it's just a legendary group of musicians, the kind of ultimate super group of modern day prog. Fourth item I had on here, just a quick mention, is there was a cool Q&A video on YouTube from Porcupine Tree where they answer several fan questions, and they have some like humor, and it's fun to see them back together because this is kind of a reunion for them in a sense, because it's been so long since their previous album. Their new album Closure Continuation comes out this June, one that's really highly anticipated and will certainly be talked about quite a bit when it comes out on this channel for sure. Really excited for it. They seem really jazzed about the album too. In the Q&A, they mention it as one of the most creatively fulfilling things they've done as a band is creating this new record and the collaboration that they were able to do. Of course, they mention how they were able to be collaborative on several pieces, because this has been kind of a long process that they've been working on this record over like the last 10 years. But of course, they had to kind of adapt and do some things remotely over the course of the last couple years because of the pandemic and all the things that went on with that. But it just sounds like a really fun thing that they've are really excited about. They're really excited to tour it and do several performances. They mentioned in there that Anesthetize is probably going to be performed live, so that's exciting. That's one of their biggest, most exciting pieces from Fear of a Blank Planet. So really exciting to see them together, to see them and their banter and just their humor, and to know that they're in a good place together. It gives me warm feelings. And whether this is just kind of a one-off reunion album and then they're kind of done as a band, or if this leads to more stuff from them is kind of an open-ended question. It's kind of what they're playing with the album title, Closure Continuation. Is this the closure of the band, or is it a continuation where they're going to do more stuff? I hope more stuff, but they do kind of have a vibe of sounding like, this is kind of their big finale note. So we'll see how that kind of plays out. I guess it depends on how good the reception is for the new album, how they feel as they tour together, and where that leads. And so really exciting news for the Porcupine Tree camp, and a really fun Q&A video. I'll put it in the description for sure. Really fun stuff that is worth checking out and watching if you're a fan of the band like I am. And number 5, kind of a maybe not as big of an item as some of these others, but something personally exciting to me is that Gentle Giant is remastering Civilian, their final album, on CD and an LP, and it's available for pre-order out there on the internet. I pre-ordered my version of the LP of Civilian. I'm a big fan. I know this is kind of maybe a polarizing album from Gentle Giant because it was them at the tail end. They're kind of going a little bit more in a mainstream new wave rock kind of direction in the 80s. That didn't quite work out for them, of course. It kind of spelled the end of the band, them kind of really moving away from their quirky, proggy stuff of their earlier career. But I really like it. I think for what it is, it's a really solid, strong album. If you kind of forget the preconceptions of like expecting it to sound like classic Gentle Giant, but to me it's leaps and bounds better than Giant for a Day, which preceded it, which was just not really a great album at all, in my opinion. It just didn't really have any memorable tracks, and it was them probably not quite figuring out what they wanted to do with themselves, kind of like really experimenting and trying to do things that were more commercial, and just things weren't working quite so well. But I think Civilian, they really landed on something really interesting, where they still have that kind of spirit of Gentle Giant and experimentation and doing things a bit differently, but doing so in a way that it sounds more mainstream and more kind of timely for the time it came out. It sounds like it was made in the 80s and really embracing the modern spirit of the music at the time. So I really think it's a fantastic little album. So I wanted to mention that for those of you who are interested, that it is available out there for pre-order. It sounds like it's going to come out, at least the CD version will come out May 20th. The LP version may come out a bit later than that, it looks like in this little description, but really cool stuff. I'm really excited. So those are kind of my big news items that I uncovered for the week. Let me know in the comments any other items that you may have come across that I didn't talk about today, or any new albums that you're excited about and listening to. There wasn't any really big new prog releases that really struck my radar today, so really just kind of playing catch up on some previous albums that are in my queue to listen to. I'm kind of gearing up for the next New Music Shuffle show, where I talk about several several new releases that have come out over the past month. Kind of basically a show that gives me an excuse to tell you what I've been listening to this month and what I've been enjoying. The albums that I didn't really give time for a full-on review, but I want to mention as recommendations because they really have been ones that have stuck with me this month and have been really interesting to me. And I think I have a pretty good lineup of cool little releases. Should be probably about 4 or 5 albums that I'm discussing in that show. Probably not this week, but will come out the following week in April. This week I'm releasing a pretty big project I've been working on. Don't know if I've talked too much about it, a little bit here and there. My big Flower Kings ranking. It's like an hour long of me just discussing every Flower Kings album and ranking them in my order of preference. So please check that one out when it comes out. If you're a big Flower Kings fan, I think you'll find a lot of enjoyment out of it. I spent a lot of time on it, and I'm really proud of how it came out, and just it was really fun to be able to talk about one of my favorite bands. And we're still continuing forward with our Jana Reacts videos. We had a great one this past week of Dream Theater's Dance of Eternity that was a lot of fun to go through. We're kind of planning our year anniversary of Nathan on Shuffle. I did this show, I started on April 18th, which just comes up in a few days. The first Jana Reacts video was on April 23rd, where we covered Yes's Roundabout. And this upcoming Sunday is the 50th Jana Reacts episode, so that should be kind of an exciting milestone. And because of all that stuff, we're probably going to release some sort of anniversary type special kind of video on not this Sunday, but the Sunday following. And we're going to announce something. I believe we're still kind of talking about it in the works. I don't want to promise anything too much, but we're kind of talking about doing something a little bit special for the month of May in terms of our Jana Reacts episodes coming up. So should be really exciting. I really recommend you guys check that out. We're also kind of trying to push towards moving up to 2,000 subscribers. We're getting there. We're getting pretty close to 2,000 subscribers. So if you could spread the word, or, you know, if you haven't subscribed yet and you watch these shows kind of casually, I'd really appreciate it. It really supports the channel and really helps me to know that people are enjoying what I'm doing and that the channel's growing. So it's really fun to be able to see the growth and to know that people are enjoying these shows, basically. So thank you guys so much for attending this episode. I hope you're excited about what's coming up. There should be some good stuff, and like I said, that anniversary show should be a lot of fun. So hopefully you guys are enjoying your music out there, enjoying any new releases that you got going on. Please mention them in the comments. Maybe you could throw in some albums you've liked this past month, and maybe I'll consider them for my upcoming New Music Shuffle show. So thank you guys so much, and I'll catch you guys in another video. Bye.